Videósorozatunk következő részében Jenny Chambers-t hallhatjátok újra, aki nem csak egy jótékonysági szervezet építésébe kezdett, hanem a kutatásban is tevékeny részt vállalt. Hallgassátok meg kérlek ezt az izgalmas beszámolót arról, hogy 25 évvel ezelőtt körülbelül hogyan indult el a kutatás Angliában, és mennyi mindent köszönhetünk az Angliában indult kutatásnak.
You mentioned that you started developing your organization after your second loss. So could you please tell us how it started?
Oh gosh, yes. So
very interesting for me.
Okay. Yeah. So the organisation started really slowly. It started off with just a telephone support line. Again, I know I keep going on about that this was a long time ago, but we're back in the days, no mobile phones, no internet. So you relied on telephones. So I set up a support line, and then I just started to raise awareness in magazines and newspapers, always with my name and my contact details in that article so that women could write to me. And I had the support of my new consultant, the consultant who'd given me the diagnosis, and she was just amazing. And also the liver specialist who was looking after me in my last pregnancy. And so with their support, so that I got all my facts right about the condition, I just started to get the condition written about, really. And so more and more women came and found me. And then in 1997, I met the most incredible researcher called Catherine Williamson, and we got on so well. We started to work together, and through me, she was able to get more women taking part in research. And then eventually we got more and more women coming. I was getting women phoning me. So I made the decision to start the charity, which I knew would be a big thing to do. I feel it's a big responsibility to start something like a charity. You have to see it through. You can't just start something and then walk away from it a couple of years later. I didn't think I'd be doing it 30 years later, but that's really how it started. And then, of course, when we got the internet, when we got social media, when I got the website, that really changed things. That really meant that we could reach many more women, but also doctors as well.
And as I know, you also changed your career path. Could you tell us what was your profession before, and what are you doing nowadays?
Right. Yes, a big career change. So when Victoria died, I was actually what we call a building society manager. I guess it would be like a bank manager. So I was doing that, but I think her death just knocked everything out of me. I couldn't face going back to work, genuinely. And we, back then we didn't even know what was wrong with me, but I just couldn't. I just didn't want to go back to work. I think you don't know what you've lost until it's gone, do you? Sometimes, as that very famous song says. And I just didn't have it in me to go to work. Now I know a lot of women do go to work, and I think you have to do what's right for you at the time. And for me, I just needed that time out. And so by the time I got my diagnosis of cholestasis of pregnancy, I was really just raising awareness. I wasn't working as such. But then after I had Tim, a friend saw a job in the paper and said, you can do this, and it means you'll get into the hospitals. So I said, okay, what job? And she said, well, it's called a phlebotomist. What? And someone who takes blood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I said, no, I can't take blood. No, I can't do that. She said, yes, you can. And she was a nurse. So she was very sort of matter of fact, and her husband was a doctor. And they said, yes, you can do this job. It means that you get a foot inside the hospital. And I thought, oh, that does make sense. So I went off and did some very basic training, and I started working at my local hospital, taking blood samples. And then when I met Catherine Williamson a few years later, it was that job that meant she could employ me as what we called a research phlebotomist. And then eventually I learned how to set up her studies, how to run them. And so I became what I'm now doing part-time, which is a clinical trial coordinator. So I look after all her trials for her and make sure that we do everything correctly, as well as being the CEO of the charity.
It's very, very exciting. And could you please tell us how your ICP support organization increased your team? I mean, your team, how did it increase?
Well, it didn't for a long time. It was just me. And we had a board of trustees. So as a charity, we have to have trustees, people who make sure that if you're raising money, the money's going to what it's supposed to do. But they're volunteers, so they were only able to do so much. So it was pretty much me running the charity until 2015. And then we got a little bit of money so we could take on somebody to do some admin work, and she worked a few days a week. And then this year, finally, we've got enough money to employ more people. So we've got a staff of 4 now, and we're growing. And then I hope to have another staff member soon, and then hopefully another 2 after that. And that's really down to the generosity of people giving donations to the charity. It costs quite a bit to run a charity. People don't really appreciate how much it does cost to run a charity. And obviously, you know, you're giving your time for free a lot of the time, but you can't run a charity on volunteers. You have to have paid staff. It is like running a business, really. Yeah. So we're building it up very slowly. But that I was a bit slow. Other charities have been much quicker than me.
I don't believe you.
Nagyon köszönöm, hogy meghallgattátok ezt a részt, és kérlek, tartsatok velünk a következőkben is, mert nagyon izgalmas részek következnek.